Hey Brad, it's good to see you, man. It's good to talk to you. How are you doing?
Hey, good, Chad. Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
Definitely. I got to tell you, man, your band, you and your band Gelatin Skeleton, has kind of dropped out of the sky for me. As far as I didn't even know you guys existed until I first started seeing, I guess, posts on Facebook. I saw some reviews on, I guess, a site I go to a lot, Sleaze Rocks, Olivier, the guy who runs that out of
Hmm.
Toronto. Uh, Videos that come up on YouTube. And I think the first time I ever heard one of your songs was, I think maybe it was you or maybe someone sent it to me. It was If You See K. That was the first Gelatin Skeleton song that ever came across my way. Of course, I dug it a lot. So I want to know where did the band start? Where does your story start? Where does Gelatin Skeleton come into place around here, especially in the local Ottawa scene?
Well, it's funny. Gelatin Skeleton is kind of like something I've been working on for a while, but it's been, like you say, kind of under the radar. I started off, just to go back way back in history. Uh,
Let's
I
do
used
it.
to play in Ottawa hair bands back in. Well, we didn't call them hair bands at the time.
Yeah,
We
I don't like
were
that term.
what were
Yeah,
we, glam metal?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
Yeah, yeah,
that's what they call us now. So,
yeah.
but back in the early '90s, I was doing a lot of that stuff around here, and then nothing really happened. And then the '90s came like a tornado and wiped everything I liked out, and so I kind of laid low for a while, and I did my other career, and then I met Chad, our drummer, Chad Walls, and he was just chatting to me about obscure, glam bands, like we were talking about, Dangerous Toys and Sweet FA
Oh
and
yeah, nice.
stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I realized that we are kind of kindred spirits. So he said, "Man, if you ever get it going again, I'm your drummer." So finally, I'm like, "All right, I'm going to do that." So I got it going again, and 2 years ago, I think it was 2 or 3. I guess it was 3 years ago now, given the apocalypse. But
yeah.
we played a couple of shows at the Rainbow Bistro here in town, just kind of like cover songs and stuff like that, just to have some fun. And then when the pandemic happened, we kind of shift gears and then we're like, okay, now we're going all original. So we started writing an album, Chad and I, and then we got the other two guys, and we wrote an album. We started releasing songs to radio, and lo and behold, the genre that we love is actually fairly popular in a lot of corners of the world. So we get to do this again, and here I am, no longer in my 20s. Suddenly, I'm a long-haired rocker again, and we're talking about playing shows, and we're talking about going to other countries, and we're getting fan letters and radio stations from all over Europe and Japan and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun. It's crazy. So
No,
as
it's
far as locally though, we're we're not, I'm not really approaching. I mean, everybody's a local band to somebody, but I'm not really approaching Gelatin Skeleton as with the local mentality. Kind of taking a global mentality. So we're going to play some shows locally, but we're also looking at the globe as far as we're like I don't want to waste time in places where nobody cares about what we do. So I want to focus on the places where people who care about putting on a show and people who care about looking the part and giving the audience what they want. That's where we're going to focus our attention.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into why I really wanted to talk to you and get your story because to me, I mean, spending a lot of time. I didn't grow up here, but I moved here in 2002. But the Ottawa scene, as far as hard rock and metal, is not really there. There's a couple bands I've met through doing the station,
Mm-hmm.
through other people here, but for the most part, Ottawa itself, this little sleepy government town, this downtown core that we have, is not really. It's not vibrant enough for a hard rock band for such as yourself. So I'm kind of surprised when I heard that you're from here. I thought, well, how did you start that here, especially of all places?
It's not easy
Yeah, from what
because
I've heard.
Ottawa has a lot of great bands, but they're mostly a lot of thrash metal and power metal and
Right.
punk and things like that. So
Yeah.
things like and we're more melodic hard rock. You
Right.
know, we're like more whereas if everybody else was a Pantera, we'd be more like a Helix. So
Right. Right.
we don't necessarily. I don't really know where Ottawa is for us, so that's why I'm kind of exploring that. Although there are some really great bands here, I don't think they're really. I don't know that there's any other bands like us yet, but I'm hoping to find some.
Yeah, for
But as far
sure.
as that goes, there's other guys in other part of Ontario and Quebec and stuff. So we'll see.
That's true, because the most you hear about, the most bands I've ever heard of, especially through the early 90s up till today, would be Toronto, or then obviously Montreal or Quebec out there. But I mean, for the most part, Ottawa itself, I find, is just like not happening as far as the music scene goes. Hopefully that
No, not really.
changes. Yeah, hopefully that changes, but I don't, honestly, I don't see it so much.
No, I don't see it. Hopefully, when now that everything's open, I mean, there's Mavericks is now open, and there's other stuff, but we'll see. I
Cafe de
mean,
Cuff. Yeah.
Cafe de Cuff, yeah. So we'll see. It's been, but like I said, it's kind of funny for us because, I guess the World Wide Web is helping because we're not necessarily. I mean, we've been approached by some local bars, and we will be playing some local shows, but we're also being approached by Sweden
Oh wow.
and stuff. So
Like
I'm
the
like,
rock
oh,
fest,
okay.
like the rock and roll, like the festivals out there, or just by clubs, or who's been coming at you?
Festivals,
Oh wow.
European
Okay.
festivals. So we'll see. I mean, we're not that
That's
big
awesome.
or anything. So I mean, we're definitely like low tier on as far as the current flock of new wave of glam metal, but we're working our way up. And I've been saying that 2023 is going to be the year of the skeleton. So
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see what happens, man. I want to go back just something you mentioned before in your history. You said you were doing other bands in the early 90s, such like that. You were
mhm.
involved in other projects. Was anything released as far as physical product? Were you on the radio at that time? What were the name of the bands
I
that
was in a
people?
band in the '90s called Heart Attack Jack, and we played a few bars, and we did a lot of cover songs of like Skid Row stuff and things like that. But nothing really materialized for me. And then when the '90s happened, I didn't really know what to do, so I kind of put out a solo thing that managed to hit some Italian webzines back in like '99. But
Mhm.
I don't think anybody heard any of it. I think I wouldn't say anything was released. I would say if anything, it escaped.
So you don't have physical
But
copies. You don't have anything out there on Spotify. There's nothing people can check out if they're listening to this.
not of the early stuff, no, and I don't think I'd want them to.
It's a growing process, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I mean, it's I don't want people looking at the crayon drawings I had on my fridge when I was in kindergarten either. So,
Hey, that's where the artistic expression starts. That's where you can kind of show this is progression. This is Brett Kelly. Then this is Brett Kelly as a more mature artist as we move along, right? Yeah. You're never too
yeah,
old to rock and roll until you are.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So talk to me about, I think it's, if I read right, or if you said right, it was around it's pre-pandemic, 2019 is when you and Chad got together to start kind of Gelatin Skeleton. Walk me through that, I'm always fascinated how names come together, and some people want to talk about that. Some don't, some have a big
hmm
story behind it, some don't. But talk to me about how the band name came together and how you guys started working on music together as Gelatin Skeleton.
Well, like I said, we discovered we were kind of kindred spirits, and we knew the obscure hair metal, and we both loved it. So I mean, if I can have a conversation with somebody about South Gang or
Nice.
Sleazebees or something like
Yeah.
that, I mean, or a Cold Sweat, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a good day.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so we were talking about that sort of stuff, and then I think I had another name in mind at first, but then it was kind of a little risque, and I didn't want to put ourselves in a box like that. So believe it or not, my son, who was 4 at the time, came up with the name Gelatin Skeleton. And I
Wow.
think he was just rhyming. I think he was just playing a rhyming thing. I think just like little kids do. And he said Gelatin Skeleton. I said, "What did you say?" And he repeated it, and I was like, "I'm putting that in the box
Yeah.
for
Box
later."
of
And
ideas. Yeah.
yeah, and sure enough, I ran it by Chad, and he was like, "Yeah, that's it." So
Can you say
and it's hard.
what the other band name was that you thought of? Can you say what it was?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if just for fun we broke it out someday, but it was going to be Pork Sword.
That could work. Hey,
I would
as
have
long, you got to get attention, right? You got
yeah, I would
something to
have
stand out.
outs over the O's.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah, you have to.
So and
That's
then
nice.
I think some people either thought it was funny, but then some of the women we knew were kind of like, I don't know, and then
Yeah.
other people just didn't get it.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's the thing.
but Gelatin Skeleton, everyone hears it and they go, oh yeah, that sounds like what you mean it to be. So
Yeah, it
I
rolls
mean,
off
if you
the
listen
tongue.
to
It
like a
rhymes. It's simple, right? It's simple and effective, which is what people need to hear when they first hear Gelatin Skeleton. They're going to remember that, right? As we're saying it now.
so far so good.
Yeah. And the logo itself, obviously, that came natural with the skeleton. That was the crossbones, the logo that obviously came by you as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just actually I'm wearing a T-shirt of it right now.
Oh, there you are. Yeah,
Stuff
it's
you
hard to
said.
see sometimes. You can't see mine, but it's hard. It's MX the American, another band, local band that, well, not local, but another independent band that got out to me too. It's good.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, it's it looks good on a record cover and it looks good on a
Yeah.
t-shirt. So that's kind of the name of the game. I mean, I'm starting to get more and more merchandise because if shows start to happen, then we're gonna get some shirts and some more CDs good to go, and I'll probably get guitar picks and stuff like that, and
Okay.
buttons, and try to get the logo out there.
Yeah, it's good to have. It's good to have. So like I said before, I first heard you guys with "If You See K," which is a great
Mm.
album song title as well too. But was that one of the was that one of the first songs you guys worked on? This is before the album, I think. I think "Werewolf" was a song. We are was that? Do I have that right? The Halloween song.
Heavy metal werewolf.
Heavy metal werewolf. Yeah, those are the first two kind of songs and video I saw of you. So where did those come in as far as before the album was recorded?
My day job, believe it or not, is I direct feature films. So I was making a horror film at the time, and I said, well, as long as we have this band, let's get a song going for the movie. And the movie ended up not really happening, but we did the song Heavy Metal Werewolf, and then we did a video for it. And at the time, we were able to have crowds, so we made a fairly big looking video for the budget at the time. And I think that was the first one, but I think we actually might have recorded Werewolf and If You See K at the same time. And that was a title for a song I had in my head ever since the 90s, and I just never got around to writing it. Someone told me after the fact that April Wine had a song called If You See K that I had no idea about.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
I went back and listened to it, and there's not much similarity, but it's kind of funny. The two Canadian hard rock bands have a song called If You See K. But I thought it was kind of a funny name for a tune because I had some stuff to say about bad relationships and stuff. So I thought that'd be a good title for a song like that.
Yeah, no, it worked. It's definitely catchy and was definitely a good introduction to your band and to the style that you were gonna be putting out there too. In my opinion. Yeah.
And then we put out we did a third song shortly after called Boys Will Be Boys.
Yes, that's
that was featured. It was featured on the soundtrack of a movie called Conga TNT, which is on like Tubi TV and Amazon and stuff. So we're on that. And and then after that, I said, well, I'm going to put this together as an album. So we did 5 more songs, including a cover of demo from Tough. I don't know if you remember the hair band Tough back.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Early 90s. They on one of their unreleased songs, I got permission from the singer to do a
Stevie
version
Rochelle.
of that. Yeah, Stevie Rochelle let us do oh my God, Alone Without You. So we did that on there. And then we did another single, kind of more like a junkyard type song called Last Call for Love.
I love that song. That's a great song that I've played on the radio station before, and in Paradise City. Yeah, I love that song. Last Call for
Thanks.
Love.
It's like a good beer drinking song.
Yeah, it is. It's great. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, the whole album, it's a 7-song, 8-song album out there right now, right? I think that people can get their hands on. Physical copies as well as digital
copies. Yeah, I have physical copies. We have them on our socials, and we have a Linktree/Gelatin Skelatin that all our stuff's available at. And we're working on a new album. Well, kind of like, I think it's going to be an EP that's going to be out in time for summer. I don't know what it's called yet, but we have a couple of really kick-ass tunes for it. And we're hoping that now that things are kind of opening up a bit, we can get some bigger looking videos and kind of really get it out there. Because like the prospects we have for the next year are looking really, really good. So I want to have some good anthem songs, like some good summer party songs,
right?
That will really get people, throwing their fists in the air and saying, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're going to be doing some tour, in Europe as well too, and you can get some anthems for those states, for those crowds as well too. That's going to be helpful.
It'd be a dream come true.
Yeah, for sure. I think recently as well, speaking of covers, you did the cover of Def Leppard's "Wasted" as well, which is really, really awesome too. You did really good with that.
Yeah. We did that originally for someone proposed that we submit it to an album. So we recorded it, and then we were like, you know what, let's keep this. This is I think the album that we were going to submit it to isn't even out yet. So we were like, let's just do our own single of it. So we put it out there, and it got us a lot of I think it got us a lot of attention in the UK. I guess being Def Leppard
makes sense. Yeah.
So I think it turned out really well. So I'm stoked about kind of doing some more stuff in that kind of direction. I mean, not covers, but some good rockin' driving songs.
Yeah, it's really it's a really faithful cover. Like the instrumentation, the music is really good, and your voice fits it really well too, I find. So it's a really good cover. Yeah, no problem, man. And the cover art for it too is very 80s centric too, which is a little bit even more glamour than what Def Leppard was doing then in 1980.
trying to go Def Leppard without going too Def Leppard.
Yeah, exactly. When I think of the cover like that and the other songs that you've been doing, you you mentioned, of course, Stevie Rochelle. You got permission to do the cover of his song as well too, of their song. Without peeling back the curtain too much, or as much as you're willing to talk about, as far as when you decide to record a cover, it's one thing to play it live, but to actually put it out under your name and put it out there for release. Is there a lot, I guess, behind that as far as the business of it to do? Is it hard to get permission? Is it hard to? How does that kind of work, if you can say, to kind of get the permission to do that for people
No,
that don't
it's
know?
actually pretty straightforward. I mean, in the case of the Tough song, I went directly to Stevie because they never published because it never got
Oh,
released.
okay.
So
Okay.
I went to him directly and asked him, and he said, "Go for it." So, but in the case of Def Leppard, what you have to do is you have to approach I can't even think of the word, but some kind
Because
of
it's
a
owned by
licensing company.
their record label Universal, I believe. So it's a little bit harder that way when
Yeah.
it's a bigger band like that.
No, you essentially you go to a licensing company and you pay the fee and you say, "Can we get the rights to this?" And then they get back to you within a couple days, and you have to pay some money for the rights. And then they limit how many things you can do. Like you say, "I'm going to put it on X amount of discs or X amount of streams," and if it goes over that, then you pay the difference. So it's all by the book and fairly straightforward. I mean, the bands get paid, so
Right.
I mean, Def Leppard's made more money off my version of it than I have, so that's fine because
Yeah.
they wrote it. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
And it's not
so that's cool.
exactly, and it's not always a lot of people, of course, who don't know, Def Leppard. It's not one of their major popular songs either, as people have forgotten since obviously Pour Some Sugar and other songs like that have come out. It's not one that people of today would go to remember. So a lot of people might think, they'd be surprised to know it's a Def Leppard cover. They may think it's yours too.
It's possible. I mean, I don't think it was ever a single, but I was
I don't
trying
think
to look
so.
at a Def Leppard cover to do, and I was trying to find something that was within my vocal range. Because I have a lot of attitude, but I have
Yeah.
the range of a Daisy air rifle. So, uh,
Has that been
so
told to you, or is that how you describe
no,
it?
just I like to joke about it, but
Yeah.
I'm not Sebastian Bach, so I'm trying to find something like, I mean, the later stuff is so produced, so overproduced, but it
Right.
sounds amazing, obviously. But with the early stuff is more within, I think, our feel, like what Gelatin Skeleton goes for. So something from the first album for sure. So I think it was a good choice.
You mentioned your vocal styles and how you approach vocals. Could talk to me a bit about how you've done that and how your voice has changed over the years. How would you? I know how you described your voice just now, but from a professional level, how would you say it is and how it fits the music? And what do you kind of do to keep it in shape or to keep it going all these years?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I'm just starting tomorrow. I'm getting back into my daily regimen of doing warm ups and stuff because the whole pandemic has just wiped it out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that we start rehearsals next week, and I'm sure it's going to take me a week or so to get the calluses in the throat built up again because it's I'm more of a gruff. As far as like glam metal goes, I'm not high and poofy, or I'm more a little more gruff. So it's for me, it's a lot of like almost like resistance training.
Yeah.
Making sure that when I'm going so gruff, I don't either silence myself or squeak because
Yeah.
because of the pressure I'm putting on myself.
Yeah.
But
And it's different in the
it's
studio versus obviously playing live as well too.
the studio's pressure. It's just I'm constantly paranoid, like about meters and all these little things going. Am I in the right key and all that other
Right.
stuff?
Yeah.
Because when you're just singing, when you're doing it on stage, you're just having a good time. And I mean, I could care less if when I'm on stage, I'd rather everybody get their asses kicked than make sure I was like, oh, was that a perfect E flat? You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but in the studio, it's a different beast altogether. So you got to try to hit those things. And but over the years, I mean, I think back in the '90s when I was doing more cover stuff, everyone was trying to everyone thought I was like when you're playing in cover bands, I think a lot of the audience wants you to be like a like Rich Little or something like that, trying to copy everyone's voices exactly.
Yeah.
But you can't do
Good
your
example.
own voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So part of being in Gelatin is finding my own voice, trying to find out what my limitations are and what sounds best for me. I mean, we did an early cover that might end up getting released after on, where we did a cover of Osmond's song, and there was a really high part in the middle, and I could hit it, but I'm not certain that I should. I'm just not certain within my within my register that when I hear it, I go, that doesn't sound like Gelatin Skeleton to me in my head. So I think I'm more of a well, somebody like Tough or Junkyard or something like that. That's kind of more my
Yeah.
sound vocally.
Yeah, if I had to compare, which I don't like to do in Pigeonhole, but if you had to compare, I think Stevie Rochelle's voice, and especially nowadays as well too, I think you can kind of compare it that way. I would
Yeah,
say too. It's definitely a tougher sound you have versus the glam stylings of the high voices. I think you definitely have a contrast to that, which I think works very well
yeah.
actually.
I mean, I wish I was Sebastian Bach, but doesn't everybody? I guess.
Yeah, there's only one, and maybe thank God for that. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure, it makes that makes that stuff special. When you're in the studio, when you're working with the guys, do they try to push you a little bit higher? Do they think you can go higher, or do you try to push yourself? How does it kind of work when you're recording this last album?
Well, what's really cool is Chad has always been my cheerleader, which is really really cool because back in the '90s, I mean, it was kind of a weird thing where everyone was kind of more competitive, and I find that in gelatin it's more encouraging. So I try something and people go, yeah, man, go for it, and nobody's shooting it down, but they're constructive, and that's really cool. It's a really it really helps build me up, and um, I mean, I think it's. I mean, and Chad is, as far as drummers goes, he's one of the world's best. I mean, he's played on tour with he's toured with Paul Diano as Paul Diano's
Right.
drummer. He toured the United States with Orange Goblin. He's toured with not Trouble, the Skull in Europe several times. So he's really experienced. He's played shows in Europe with Exciter.
Oh
So
wow.
he's got a lot of road years underneath him. So for him to be on my team and be supportive is super super cool. So and we given the pandemic we haven't gotten together in person a whole lot, but we've been doing some writing on Skype and things like that, and it's cool. I mean, I think we help what do you call get
Motivate each
each
other.
other into
Positive.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah we motivate each other as far as that goes.
I
Yeah,
wanted to ask you about Chad too. I knew he played with Deano at some point. What era did he play with Deano? Not, no, it wasn't the '80s. Was it in the '90s? Was it 2000s? I know Paul is sick.
2000s.
He's off the road right now, unfortunately, with his leg issues and hip issues. Hopefully, he gets better. But 2000s, I guess, when
Hmm.
he was doing the shows. Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I don't know exactly where, but I assume most of the touring he did was in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Paul spends most of the time over there. It's easier for him to stay over there, especially with his troubles, legal troubles
Yeah,
from before. Yeah, yeah. It's
right.
not easy for him to get to America or Canada for that matter. So yeah, that makes sense.
So it's cool. He's like I said, Chad's got a lot of experience, and
Yeah.
he's super fantastic. I mean, he played in a lot of thrash bands as well, and he's got the chops.
We keep talking about Chad. Who else is in the band with you? We should probably give them a shout out as well too.
Yeah, we got Miles Rourke. Goes by the nickname Slam Tango, but I call him Miles.
Is that from Bang
But
Tango? Is that
I don't know. I don't know.
since we're talking
But
about obscure bands?
Miles is a really experienced guy as well from around here. He played in a lot of bands back in the 80s and 90s. Barrier Reef was one that used to be in the 80s, and I played in Drill Point, and he was in an Alice Cooper tribute band playing Alice, and is an
Wow,
amazing Alice.
nice.
So we're kind of doing a little bit of it switching around right now, and he's been our guitar player, but he's going to be our bass player, it looks like, and we think we're switching things up as far as guitar goes. So that's a little bit to be continued, but we got a couple of guys we're jamming with who are pretty fantastic. So we're optimistic about how that's going to go. It's you'd be surprised how, or maybe you wouldn't. But in Ottawa, when you say something like, "Hey, we're putting together a glam metal band in 2022,"
Writing
people
original
aren't
music, no less.
yeah, people aren't necessarily like it seems like everybody in Ottawa wants to play, Tragically Hip or
Yeah.
Megadeth,
Well,
and there's nothing in
there's no
between.
money in original music. That's the bare bones of it. True, a business side. I mean, it's a music business, as you know. And to be honest, there's no money. There's no money in that, and people don't want to do it. And they
Yeah,
don't have the time. They have day jobs, like you mentioned, and they just
yeah,
don't want to commit, and they can't. And there's not a lot of crowd out there. It's partly the fault also of the let's the people in Ottawa. They don't go out there and support a lot of live music, especially the live hard rock music. They just don't want to do it, or for whatever reason, they
yeah.
don't have the money, the time, or they don't have the interest. It's
Which
unfortunate.
again goes back to our approaching this from a global approach instead of
Right.
locally, because
Exactly.
yeah, it's like if what do you call it? If Apple was just selling computers in California, how much money would they be making? They got to hit the whole world, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Although even
so we'll
California is
see. I
big
mean,
enough, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, things are picking up. So, but Miles and Chad and I have been, we're getting together next week with a couple of guitar players, and yeah, I'm stoked. I think I'm more excited now than I have been in a little while. We've been putting out our singles and things have been going really well, but now to see all the guys in person and actually make some noise and, you know, scratch my throat up a bit, and we're almost ready to maybe talk to a venue. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Things are looking really good.
So would you say the core of the band would be yourself, Chad, and Miles as well? And that's the kind of the core of the band. These other guys are just kind of coming in to start I guess, the shows, and they weren't on the record that just came out then.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've made the joke that if we're kind of like Ottawa's Whitesnake, where where it's like where if I was the David Coverdale or whatever.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, you have your John Sykes, and that could be Miles, and off he goes. You get him out of there. He's too good for you. You're too good for him. Just send him on his way. He starts a Blue Murder. You know what I mean? That's gonna
yeah, exactly.
have that band drama.
But I don't know. I'm hoping to get a solid lineup of things. But basically, me and Chad have been holding down the fort. And Miles is there, so whenever I email Miles, I go, Miles, me and Chad have been talking. We're doing this thing. You in? He goes, yep. So
nice.
Then it becomes the three of us, and yeah. So we had another guy in the videos, and nice guy, great player, but he said he just doesn't have time to play. So.
All right. Well, then it goes back to what we just mentioned, that some people, like, you don't have the time, especially in original music, original band, if you have to be all in or you're all out. You know?
And I get it. I mean, none of us are 20, right? I mean, I got kids, I got responsibilities as well. So I understand totally.
Yeah. When you first got everyone together and first started recording this, the album itself, did you, prior to that, did you play some shows locally or otherwise around the country? Or is it just since the record came out? When did you last play shows? When did you start playing shows? Like, give me a timeline on that.
2019, we played a show at the Rainbow, and at the time it was me and Chad, and Darren Boyd from Famous Underground helped us out on that one on guitar.
Nice, love that band.
And he's a great guy. Known him for years. And this other guy Dan was playing bass with us, and then we got asked to do a second show, which was a fundraiser for the flood, if you can remember that. There's a flood.
Yes.
So we did a fundraiser for that.
That's the Quebec one, the one in Quebec. Yeah.
And we did. Actually, that was fun because we went out there and we played covers, but we didn't really rehearse them. We just kind of went out and played like "Girl School" from Britney Fox, and we played like a couple of Rat songs, and nice. I think we played some Motley. And we just went out and had a good time and made some mistakes and had some laughs. But we ended up, handing out some buttons and letting people know what we were up to. And so that was 2019, and that's the last time we played. And actually, we had a show booked for 2020.
Just before, was it just in the couple months before, or was it mid-pandemic that it was scheduled and then obviously it got blown out? Do you remember?
I think it was one of those, hey, we're all ready to open again things. Let's book a show. And then we booked a show.
Mid-2020. And it was like, nope, nothing's open. Yeah. Then our I was going to call him the governor. That's too much US. Our Doug Ford said, no. Yeah, our premier. Yeah, I lost the word. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of hoping is that we play a show, at least one show this spring or summer, and locally. And then there's, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen, but there is potential of opening for some national bands. But it's too early to say because But I'm hoping something like that happens. But at the very least, one or two local shows, and then
would they be here in Canada if you did the opening slot for those, or would it be in America, or would it be? It'd be here in Canada.
Yeah, it'd be probably Ontario.
Okay.
But it might not. I mean,
yeah,
right.
Very,
very premature to say anything about it. And but then we're doing a big media push in the UK in the what do you call it? Spring? Fall. The other one in the fall. So we're getting a big push in the UK in the fall, and then we're going to end up there in summer of 2023. So fingers crossed that goes really well and nothing changes that. But that's kind of the plan at the moment. And like I said, we're talking to some other places. So I don't know. I mean, I'm getting excited, but I should really for my own sanity, just focus on one show at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Because you never know what's going to happen, especially in different countries, different regulations, different rules. It's hard to, even for any band at any size level, it's hard to kind of know what's going to happen. It could change on a dime, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
that's unfortunate.
I haven't been in an airplane and I don't even remember how long.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I remember you were teasing on social media, especially on Instagram, a lot of places that big things were coming in 2023. And I guess that would be, the UK. That would be you guys hitting that, which is cool. I take it to be the first time you guys went over there. Gelatin Skeleton, anyway. Have you been over there yourself at any point as far as musician?
Never. And I don't think Chad's been there either. I think he's only been, I think he's been in the airport on the way to another place. But
oh, wow. Yeah. With Deanna for tours. Yeah.
And I don't think Miles has ever played there either. So I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, it's I can't even. I wish I could say more, but no papers are signed yet. So, but
right, yeah, because I guess. Sorry, I got you off.
It's a good festival that we're excited to play, and there's probably going to be some other names that I used to have on cassette back in the early '80s, playing the same show. So that would be very, very, very cool.
Can't wait to see when that happens. And as far as doing any kind of a club or any kind of show tour over in the UK, obviously it's up to promoters to book you. Do you have any? Can you say? Do you have anyone snooping around interest in that as far as touring for yourselves over there, or is it?
I've spoken to 2 promoters, and I think a lot of it is pivoting on what the date for that big festival is,
right?
Because then everything's got to be worked around that. So, but it's I'm hoping that if we're going to fly over, that we can get a few dates in the UK so we can make it kind of more worthwhile.
Right. Get some shows where you're headlining kind of thing, doing your own thing, and you can do a longer set, and you can kind of add some stuff in there too, which is cool. Get them exposed to your stuff.
Or even open for someone over there that's got more legs under them. Like there's a lot of really good UK glam metal bands over there.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a healthy scene over there for sure.
Oh yeah. Like, geez, just off the top of my head, there's Midnight City, and there's a new band called Bad Actress, who I think is from Australia, but they took
their name from a Def Leppard song as well too. One of the later period ones, actually. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, Bad Actress.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's on one of there's a little Def Leppard connection for you there as well too. Yeah, there's a lot of good bands. Reckless Love. There's a lot of great bands, especially out of Sweden as well too, coming over there too. Like there's a lot. It's almost a little bit too much. You can almost get lost in the shuffle at that point too. It's good impact. Yeah, if you think.
But it's cool though that there actually is some kind of a scene, because I feel like we're not just swimming in a sea of
apathy.
Metallica cover bands.
Yeah. It's almost like the Sunset Strip of the 80s now over there kind of thing, in the 2000s or 2010s almost. Yeah, you can kind of really make your mark. It's really cool.
And we almost couldn't be farther geographically.
Yeah, exactly. I know. How amazing is that? Well, as long as you get to wherever people will have you, wherever you can turn up and play, you'll play for them, which is the model of the band.
And we want to put on our motto is we want to put on a show, and we want when I walk into a bar, I want to see a band that looks like a band.
Yeah.
And they want to entertain me. They don't want to just look at their shoes and play, Blow It High Dough or, or Blackened or whatever, like for the umpteenth time, or Collective Soul songs for, you know what I mean? You remember when it used to be people just play like Collective Soul songs for 2 hours and stare at their shoes?
Yeah.
We're going to give you some.
We're going to give you a show that people can see the music and a show. Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Do you have I've never seen you guys live. Do you guys wear like not costumes, but do you have like a attire? Do you have get up? Do you have your hair done a certain way? Do you have like kind of a glam image kind of thing? Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Nice. Where if you see us on social with I know
those filters you use on Instagram now, but that's something a little bit different. Yeah.
My kids saw me the other day getting ready for a photo shoot, and I put on my silver leather pants, and my son looked at me and he goes, "Just another day in the Kelly household." Oh,
there you go. See, they're on board with it too. That's cool.
Yeah, they think it's awesome. So I mean, we're doing leather, we're doing things that that light will reflect off of, and and Chad is the most visual drummer you've seen. And
with the sunglasses and the guy in the wraparound glasses and the way he's banging the hair in the ponytail. Yeah, I mean, I noticed him right beside yourself. He was the star of the videos for sure. Totally. When I saw them. Oh yeah, I was like, that guy's a superstar right there. Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're all going to give 110%, I mean, we're not in competition with anybody or anything like that, but we definitely want to put our money where the mouth is, and say. When you come to see Gelatin Skeleton, we're not just phoning it in. We're going to make you feel like you went to the Ottawa Civic Center in 1990.
Nice.
And you
Got a
lined
good
up to
show.
see Cinderella.
Yeah, a real live raw show, no backing tracks, no fake stuff on the back, no keyboardist
Yep.
at none of the stage. If you have a keyboardist, he's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Real rock show. That's awesome. Speaking of the visuals, then it's a good tie-in to talk about the videos themselves. You mentioned being a video director, and of course, obviously, that came into a big play when making the videos. Walk me through some of the work that went into and where some of those videos were shot. I believe you did one for a heavy metal werewolf. Easy for me to say, and another one too. Did you do one for If You See K? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We did. If You See K was done at the Vibration Studios in Osgood. They're super cool. They let us film on their stage there, and then we had the burlesque fire performer Poison is her name. She came out and did some fire effects and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool, and it was really low key. It was just us and my camera person. And then we did Heavy Metal Werewolf. We filmed at the European Creative Arts Center, and we built like kind of like an arena stage as much as we could with our limitations. And we had a crowd of about 50 or 75 people come out. And
this was the height of that pandemic too that you guys were doing this, right?
No, it was just before.
Oh wow, it was all just before.
Even know it was
you didn't do anything during. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Did we film? Oh, we filmed one video during the pandemic, which was Last Call for Love.
Oh, was a video for that too? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and we did a video for that. It just so happened that Chad couldn't make it, so we were all. The rest of the band was at the location. We were all set up. We're in our shiny pants and looking all cool and having our hair all done up. And then Chad couldn't make it at the last minute, so we had to still film the video without him. So he's not in that one, but he's there in spirit. And that one, there was no audience, and it was originally we were trying to go for like a sleazy club vibe with an audience, and we were gonna have people pretend to be drunks and things like that, but we couldn't do that. So instead, we just turned it into a performance thing. But it was like it's weird to film a music video and there's only 5 people around.
Yeah, it kind of changes the energy of it too, right? Especially you're doing it to the track as well too. I believe you're doing it to the studio track.
It's weird. Yeah,
I can't imagine how that goes. I've always wondered how that kind of works and how you make it look enthusiastic when you're just miming to the CD basically and no one's there.
I end up. It seems I always end up doing the first take where I lip sync, and then I go, "This is stupid," and then I start singing it for real, like playing
with your song, with yourself, yeah. And then cut that out in post production. You cut that part out, right, in case you don't hit, in case you do a little squeak.
But we have a couple of songs coming up for the summer, and they're real rock anthems. So I'm really hoping that we can get an actual audience on a big stage and get people yelling the chorus at us and holding their lighters up and all that stuff. So that's the hope. I mean, nice. It's when we're trying to put out a visual vibe, it's really cool to have an audience to feed off of.
Where would you say sorry.
Sorry, it's funny. I just remembered when we were filming Heavy Metal Werewolf, a couple of ladies came out to be extras, and I'm wearing leather pants and cowboy boots, and my hair's teased, and I'm wearing scarves and all that stuff. Yeah. And this lady left. And she emailed me the next day and said, "Sorry, I left. I don't support thrash metal." I thought, where did you think you were?
Did she miss the CD playing in the background? Did she not hear the? Did she? Wow. Unless she doesn't know what that is, what thrash metal is.
The song was called Heavy Metal Werewolf.
I guess maybe they thought it was going to be an intense song based on the title, but if they never heard, wow. I can't imagine that. What did you say? Sorry, you missed
Carpenters.
Well, sorry, you were misinformed. Yeah.
I said sorry. I said
missed
sorry.
A hell of a show.
A good time.
Yeah, you missed a hell of a show. Yeah. Well, it's her loss. Maybe she'll check out some music online. Your videos out there. I mean, she can get schooled on it.
Hey, you can't please them all.
Exactly on what you guys do. When you were writing the last record, obviously you guys were all together in one room in one studio for the most part anyway, but you mentioned of course doing some new music over Zoom. Tell me about the difference, beside the obvious difference that you're not there in the same room, but as far as the challenge of writing your ideas and getting your ideas across to the guys and vice versa versus Zoom versus being right there, how would you say it is for you guys anyway? It's
all in slow motion. It's like writing a song in slow motion because the feedback isn't immediate like it would be in person. So it's you'll say, like Chad will say, I have an idea for a riff, and he'll send me a video of a riff. Then I'll sit there and I'll listen to it over and over again and try to come up with a lyric. Or I'll send him, the poor guy, I'll send him a video of me singing with no music, which is, who wants to hear that, right?
A cappella.
An a cappella hair metal song.
That
So
could
I'll
be your
sing
next
it, or I'll
put
sing
one on
him
the record.
something.
Yeah, we need that. Yeah, put that on the next record. Brett Kelly a cappella. I'll check it
Oh my
out.
God, the Acapellas.
Acapellas, yeah. There
Um,
you go. New band name too. Love it.
so so we so yeah, it's literally like, he'll do something and then I'll spend a week trying to get it done, and then he'll or vice versa. And then I've also been writing songs with Mike Treblecock, who is the singer for the Killjoys. I don't know if you remember those
Oh
guys.
wow, yeah. There's a blast from the
Songs in the
past. I
90s.
didn't.
Yeah.
Are they still active?
No,
I don't-
well, not as a band. They get together occasionally, I think, but he plays with a band called Cemetery Spawn, which does some horror movie type stuff. And so anyway, Mike co-wrote a couple songs with me, and he's working on one at the moment. And so we do the same thing where I'll sing him something, and then he'll send me back some music, and then we'll kind of marry them together. And so it's very strange. I mean, I don't know. I think it's far more productive than it would be in person, I think, because I'm able to, like, sometimes I'll be working on one song with Chad, I'll be working on one song with Mike, and then I'll be working on one song by myself, and then it's the next thing you know, there's 3 songs going on.
That sounds
But
confusing though. It sounds like
it's
something could get lost there.
it's all good. I mean, I'm getting together with Chad and our friend, a friend of ours named Cream Show. The 3 of us are getting together on the weekend to work on a song. So I'm totally looking forward to that. It's been a while since we've all been in the same room, so that's going to be exciting. And
That's for the EP that you guys are working on that you mentioned.
Yep. Yeah, so we're working on that. We're getting some bass stuff put down, and there's another song that Chad and I have been working on that I'm hoping we get into that this weekend as well. So it's coming along really good. It's kind of like got a Dirty Looks vibe to it. I don't know if you remember that band.
Yeah. I like how you're dropping all these
real more
obscure
like
bands.
early
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah. With Henrik Ostergaard. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost him a long time ago. Unfortunately, but yeah, that's and you're describing singers and bands that you would have a lot. You could do a lot of their covers. Not to say you should, but I'm just saying that that your voice would fit those styles. So I could see those elements working within what you got going on with Gelatin Skeleton. I could say like you're not doing Sebastian Bach. You're not doing maybe Nick Walsh. You're not doing, I don't know, Journey. You know what I mean? You're not that you couldn't, but you're sticking to what you're suited, what you're best with, what your strengths are.
And that's a little bit of not being 20 anymore and thinking you could do everything. I mean, when I was playing clubs in the cover days, I remember doing some screaming out some Skid Row and doing a lot of Faster Pussycat and stuff like that, and it was fun. But I'm like, I don't know, that's me. I don't know if that's me. So now that I'm older and wiser, hopefully, or older at least, I know that I've been listening to Winger a lot lately because I don't know why, I'm just really into Winger this week, and he as a singer, Kip Winger floats comfortably within his range, and when he pushes it, he doesn't push it too far, and I'm like, that's a good role model, I think.
Yeah, and he still has a good voice. He still has it, and they're still doing good things too. So he's a good example for that.
Hasn't lost an inch.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this may be an obvious question then, but you mentioned all these bands. But I guess growing up as a youngster in the 80s, or we'll say you grew up in the 80s, not to age you too much, but would these bands have been your major influence? Were you always a hard rock guy? Is there other musical genres that kind of influence you as well?
Not influence me, but I mean, when I was a kid, I liked Duran Duran or whatever. But then when I discovered, I was into Kiss when I was a kid, like from my brother's record collection, and then I was still into Kiss back like in the 80s. But then I discovered, Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses when Appetite for Destruction came out. Oh my God, that was mind blowing.
Game changer.
That's when we said, okay, I'm growing my hair and I'm gonna play in a band. And then the summer of 89, 90 happened, and it was suddenly there was Skid Row, Warrant, Winger, Tesla, all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Cinderella had a great album.
They're on the charts. Everything was blowing up. Yeah.
Oh my God. That 89, 90 was suddenly, I felt like I was
great year.
home.
Yeah. Great year for that music. Yeah, and for sure.
From then until 93, I felt like that was bliss. It was really bliss. And then, as far as that stuff goes, I think that was probably the best time for me musically. I know history will not cite that music in those years for those reasons.
Hey, if people know, they know.
For me personally, right? As far as if you were there, it was a great time. I run into people all the time who like Gelatin, who are like, we get it, we were there too,
Yeah.
And it was fun, and I think we need fun more now more than ever, so we can help bring some of the fun back. If we could if we could yell out part of a chorus and you yell us the rest of the chorus, and everyone's kind of bonding over that, that's what those times meant. And it
Yeah.
was about they were crazy, crazy nights, man.
Yeah. We need that back now more than ever, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple more
Yeah.
questions, Brett. I appreciate your time and doing this with me. A couple more questions. I'll let you get back to daily grind.
My pleasure.
You obviously, with being a Canadian band, and you mentioned being a global, you have a global idea, you want to do a global reach. And something cool that you really do is I see that sometimes on social media, you'll post where your songs have hit on radio stations around the world. Where are some places that kind of surprise you that you thought, wow, my music reaches here? Or where, besides the obvious choices, where have you thought, wow, I can't believe it went there?
Bulgaria.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've thought about Bulgaria once in my entire life. I mean,
Other than,
being in Canada, it doesn't come up a lot.
Yeah.
So suddenly to hear like, and I'll find, radio, like there's apps where you can find what stations played what songs or whatever. And I'll find, some place in, let me think, Hungary would play like the Eagles, Gelatin Skeleton, and Motley Crue.
Yeah,
like,
I remember you posting stuff like that, like Gelatin Skeletons mixed in with the Eagles, or at one point it was at Brittany Fox on a different one and some other bands, which was very cool. It kind of fits, but sometimes you kind of like, how do they mix that in? You know what I mean? That's very fascinating to me.
There's a station in Edmonton that has been really good to us that has been posting.
Is that Power 97?
99.3.
Okay.
They've been playing us between all kinds of stuff, like Tragically Hip, then us, and then like once again something like the Eagles, and you go, wow, that's cool, man. Like, and in Edmonton, I mean, I believe it or not, I think you're the only station in Ottawa that's playing us.
That makes
like
sense. Well, that goes back. That goes back to what we talked about. Have you tried to? Obviously, maybe you obviously have. Have you tried to get out to? I guess Rebel would be the only one that would really do it.
Yeah, I send our stuff out to.
It's hard to get on their local rock switch.
For one single that I release, I'll probably spend 2 weeks getting it out there to various radio stations and various, all sorts. Like, basically anyone who might air it, talk to us, any sort of thing, I'll put it out there. And if and this is just my attitude from way back, is running up the flagpole and see who salutes. I'll throw it to 1,000 radio stations, and if 100 play us, I win. So
yeah, exactly. Even if one does it, you did what you accomplished, what you set out to do, which is get your music in front of people and get it to stations who can hear it. Yeah. There's
a radio station on a reservation somewhere that played us, and they played us a few times. So I'm like, if we get a few fans out of that, fantastic. It's great. And I'll make little efforts. Like, not all bands do it, but I'll touch base with DJs, and I'll try, not try to necessarily make friends, but I will be friendly, and I will make efforts to, like, I think I sent, did you get a Christmas card this year?
Yes, I did. I was going to mention that. Thank you for the Christmas card. I put a video up of it, a picture of it too. It's great. Breck, you're the one who did it, so I appreciate that so much. Yeah. Merry Christmas from the Kelly family. I love it. From the Gelatin Skeleton family. Thank you.
That's an effort that, I remember hearing back in the day, like Slaughter used to do stuff like that. Like people, Slaughter used to, they used to call up their fans. They'd have back in the day when there was phones instead of email.
Yeah.
They would have fans call their number, and then they would call fans back.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool to hear. Yeah, it's bringing that back, which is very cool. And I take it you're the guy from the band. I mean, you're the main guy. You're the one doing that, right? You're the one doing the follow-ups. It's Brett Kelly doing the calls. You're doing the follow-ups. Yeah. You're the one that sounds like a lot of extra work on the side, considering you have a day job and the band and and what you're and being creative. How do you find time in your day to do all these little things that are important, but still find time?
I make the time. I mean, if it means enough to me. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I have been wanting to do this since '89. And now in 2020, I get to do it. What a miraculous thing. I mean, the fact that, here I am, 49 years old, I still have all my hair. I'm still in reasonably good shape. I can still jump up and down and get up half the time.
Yeah.
And
especially when it comes to the stage.
I'm like, so it's like, if I can do this now and make this happen, I will make my days 30-hour days if I have to. And I will I'm up all night anyway, talking to people from, Japan and Europe and all the various places with different time zones. So I'll make it happen. I mean, if from my other job when I was a filmmaker as well, my attitude has always been, go do all the stuff that all the other people aren't doing. Go forth the extra effort, and my track record's pretty good. I mean, my failure to success ratio is this is Gelatin Skeleton's a good train to be aboard, because things are going to be getting better and better.
Yeah, it seems to be doing quite well, and kudos to you and the band and for putting forward and doing what you're doing. So people can check out. Of course, we'll put the links up on this when it goes out as well too, on the video as well too. People can check it out. You have you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter.
Yep.
People can check out your music, download it there, buy physical copies, which I encourage people to do all the time, because nothing like having physical in your hand, which I need to wreck that. I need to get my hands on a Gelatin Skeleton CD, which I will as well too. And I sure will. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this. One more question, Brett, before I let you go. I got to ask you, we brought it up a few times. Are we going to hear a Tragically Hip song in your set? Are you going to do a cover? You're going to cover Blow It High Dough, or do something drastic from the first record?
I really like
Small Town Bring Down, man. Small Town Bring Down. Do it.
I'll leave that for all the other.
I'll buy all the copies.
So.
Yeah.
But if we were to do a Canadian cover, it would not. It would probably be something a little more hairsprayish.
Oh yeah. Do you have an idea? Can you say, or is it just for later? I have some ideas for if you're taking requests. I have.
All right. Throw me a suggestion, and I'll see what. Throw me a suggestion, and I'll see what.
Well, there's the little band. What's that?
Throw one at me.
Well, there's one we already mentioned his name already. Slick Toxic is an obvious one. Svengali is another one. Those are some big Toronto bands. Another band that actually Rick Emmett produced, I believe, in the 80s. A lot of people don't know about them. Santers is another band from the early 80s.
Oh yeah,
remember them?
Rick Santers.
Yeah, Rick Santers. Yeah.
Hey, you want to hear a quick Svengali story?
Definitely.
When I was playing in 1993 in a metal band in Ottawa, my band was about to go on. Our opening song was Under the Bengali. And
great song. Opens the record.
So I told the guys, I said, okay, we're going to get ready to start, but I just have to go to the washroom first. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to go to the washroom first. Don't go on without me. So I go into the washroom, and I have my wireless microphone tucked into the back of my pants, and I'm taking a leak. And then all of a sudden the drums start, and I'm still taking a leak, and my band has already started the song. So of course the song opens with a like a loud scream, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Dave
Wanless
does this big scream.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there. So I'm at the urinal, and there's this poor guy at the urinal 2 stalls over, and it's my cue to scream. So I pull the microphone out of my back of my pants, and at the urinal I go, "What?" The guy almost had a heart attack, wondering who this guy was screaming beside him.
You're a little too close to
running out to the bathroom.
Is that your war cry?
Like a good entrance, but...
Oh my god, that's amazing. Do you know Dave? Did you ever tell him that story? Have you had a chance?
I have not had a chance to tell him the story. So, but I imagine they're
hilarious.
back and doing stuff. So it'd be nice to play with them.
Yeah, they did a cover recently as well of a Triumph song they just put out, Spellbound, and they have that new record. It's an EP3, which is they went heavier actually. They got some really, I don't know if you heard their tunes, but they went heavier, which is good. It's cool. I like what they were doing on the first record, but it's still cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, and as far as covers, I never mentioned this to the guys, so I can't vouch for them. But I'd love to do a Trooper song.
Is that Raise a Little Hell?
Sports car? Yeah, Raise a Little Hell.
That's the only song I know of theirs, to be honest.
Or do a Platinum Blonde song. Heavier.
Oh wow! I saw them in concert not too long, way pre-apocalypse too. They were great stuff. Mark, the singer, is still good stuff.
More guys.
Yeah. That's cool if you did a cover of that. That's cool. That's good to hear. Good Canadian rock, keep it alive, man, for the world to hear. Awesome. Brett, I appreciate your time and your chat and your time, and we'll talk again maybe when the record comes out. You guys have some more things going on, maybe before you do the European tour, or maybe while you're on it, we could chat again and call up and see what's going on. I'd love to keep in touch and see what's going on with you.
Thanks, brother. And when we're playing, I'll let you know, and we'll get you out.
Yeah, come down to Ottawa show. I could at least be one of the guys supporting Ottawa. I talk about a good game. I should actually maybe show up to a show. That'd be good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, awesome, Brett. Take care, man. Good talking to you.
Thanks, man. Good talking to you too.
Peace.